Hello, everybody. So we've got 27 people here, 194 interested. That tells me, as usual, we're probably going to be filling up for the first few minutes. So I will leave it for a few minutes. If anybody here would like to just stick up their hand and just come and have a chat for a few minutes whilst we wait for everybody to come in, you're welcome. Otherwise, we can just pause. There you go. Someone new. Flip, flap, flob, pop. There we go. I'm going to bring you up. Hello.
You pretty much got the name right. Well done.
Thank you. And you're British. Is it Flip for short or Bop or?
To be honest, it was just a random name I decided to randomly come up with. So Flip, Flap, Flop, Bop, if you want to call it. Nice and easy.
Where did you get that from? It sounds like something that I'd read in one of my sort of children's books.
To be fair, it is. I'm expecting my first child in April, so it's.
Really?
So it's out of a children's book that I've managed to find. So it's a little bit go to that.
The intuition is strong. Well, look, great to meet you. I haven't seen you in the community before. Have you come through? Have you joined the community recently? Have you come from Ooze?
If I'm totally honest, so there's two. I've kind of become aware of your project through two things. One, just seeing through James Pelton videos, and I'd say more prominently through the NFT that you've just done with EMP. So I've got two of those NFTs from that. Obviously, with everything, like you'll know better than most people at the minute, I'm presuming you're still in the UK. Obviously, bills, etc., are going up, and it's rubbish times at the minute. I work in the public sector. Obviously, I'm not going to pronounce publicly what I do, but you'll probably guess what I do by saying public sector. So I'm just trying to find ways of increasing my income passively. So I've come across your project. Obviously, I'm in EMP already and a few others, but I'm just trying to look for more lower risk, lower to medium risk projects that I know that I can get a good, stable income each month. Just transport things. So obviously, come across yours. I know this is a big event tonight, and looking to learn more.
Very good. Yeah, very good. Well, great to have you. And hopefully with the Mdb ecosystem, you kind of see that there is, the tokens are designed to have much lower downside risk than the upside potential. But obviously, you can't have huge upside potential without some risk. And then you've got the stable backed assets, which there's nothing going on other than really it's a BUSD, sort of wrapped in a smart contract that generates, that captures more BUSD in the LP, so it pushes up the value of your holding. So, yeah, well, look, it's great to have you. Did you have like a specific question that you wanted to ask?
Not necessarily a specific question, more just a comment from my perspective. I think what's great in this Discord here is that I can see there's obviously a lot of information in terms of like where to get started, how to get started. The only one comment that I would make is for me, with my background, I do have a computer science degree. So from a technical standpoint, I understand obviously most of the things that are going on. But in terms of the crypto space itself, I would still probably class myself as a beginner. It would be great if there's more material that you could possibly maybe put out there with examples of, for examples of, look, here's the different routes that you can get in. Here's one route that if you're more interested in, like, say, a passive income, here's one route you can look to do it. If you're more happy with the risk of, say, trading, here's another route. I just think it'd be a great idea, and it would help a lot more people get involved.
I think it's a great idea, actually. In traditional business, so like a software business, you would have a content marketing strategy, and you would do thought leadership or just small content pieces that are more generally appealing for someone who's trying to understand about the industry, and then there's a segue into your product within that piece of content that you're marketing. So I think it's a brilliant suggestion. Even if you do really basic pieces of content like, where's the top 5 places online to buy B&B, or how do I add tokens to my MetaMask, and just little things like that, then you know, they can be really good sort of stepping stones into then your own protocol, right?
Absolutely. I just think, as I said, it would just make it a little bit easier. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm able to find bits of information that I need, but I think that what I have had to do is go to like a few multiple different places in order to try and collate all that information fully, if that makes sense. Whereas I think if you had, I hope you don't mind me saying this, but like obviously with EMP, I found it exceptionally useful having their academy that I've been able to watch through and read.
Yeah, no, look,
and it's been really, really easy.
You do a fantastic job with that. I don't take any offence at all to be compared to them.
But no, as I said, really looking forward to hearing a bit more. It clearly looks fantastic. There's a lot of people, you know, speaking massive positive praises for you. And it'll be definitely something that I'm, you know, going to be looking to add to my portfolio after this AMA, because I'm told, I've been told by a few of the community members that it's worth waiting until after this AMA till I put some money in just to maximise gains. So look forward to the announcements.
Interesting. Trying to front run you. I'm joking. Yeah, I think to be fair, and I don't mind saying this quite openly, you know, we've just been through a big gravity, and there is always a dip after gravity, and the larger the gravity, the larger the dip. But we run a system where we'll hold a float of MDB, we'll obviously then transact and distribute that MDB, and then we'll start to refill that float as well. So you know, we're, in terms of any dip as a protocol, we're not concerned in the slightest. We're very happy for the volume, actually. You know, you guys are very happy with the rewards that you're earning on Xenia. Imagine, you know, I think our BNB are, because we have like a float of BNB in our trust fund, and that was down to about 20k like 10 days ago. It's like 80k now. So that's just, you know, building up from the volume that we've had, which is, and obviously growing as well. So yeah, so we've got a bit of a dip at the moment, and, you know, doing some analysis, I think, you know, a bit of that dip could continue, but you just, or some of the sales will continue. I still see the buys coming in, but you just don't know. You don't know, right? You can sit on your hands and miss the moment when it starts to move in the other direction. But yeah, I think the community is probably largely right. I think you know, people are starting to work out the sort of gravity process now and how it works.
As I said, overall, massively looking forward to what you've got coming in. I've sent you a DM with what I do, so you'll understand what I say next. Is main aim with this is get to a position where I can stop having to do night shifts. Mainly is my main aim.
Yeah.
And obviously support my family. So yeah,
You're a tax investigator.
Well, there we go.
I'm joking. I'm just manifesting my fears. I'm joking as well. Delete the recording. Yeah, no, look, brilliant, and I really appreciate it, because quite often we say, look, anyone want to pop up for a minute and just share a couple of words, and it's just cricket. So I'm absolutely delighted that, yeah, flip, flap, flop, bop.
Just call me. I'm happy people know my first name. Just call me Jack. It's easier. It's all
Jack.
good.
No worries. It's difficult though when you got a Discord with 12,000 people. It's very difficult to remember a name that you don't see in front of you. Even people in the Discord that I've known for a long time. Yeah, it's hard. So, Jack, if I have to clarify that name again, like,
so I'll put it in my name for you to make it easy if you need to. That's good. But only, you know, the thing I'd say would be I've put a couple of comments obviously in the general group and stuff already. I know obviously I won't shout out everyone because there's a few people that have helped out, but to the people that have helped out, appreciated time and pointing me in the right direction. Hopefully I'll be able to help you back in some way in the future as well.
Yeah, thank you. That means a lot. And look, the way we try and build the community really is, you know, even the day we launched, we did a gravity over 6 months ago, right? So from the day we started, it was like this environment where people had come together with different backgrounds, right? Some had been through whitelist with us, and others were investing that first day, and then others, you know, had been transferred from another project on our launch day. So, you know, I think it's within the culture of the community to help people that are kind of new walking through the door, or at least I hope that's the case.
We're starting that, I think, is a bit of confidence. Like obviously seeing your videos through AMAs, obviously yourself being doxed is extremely helpful. But I think it's just the adult nature in which you conduct yourself and talk to other individuals.
Not many times I'll get that
like,
feedback, I'll be honest.
But you know what I mean? That, like, don't get me wrong. Like, there's a lot of people that are going to speak on YouTube and obviously want to promote their protocols massively. But obviously, with the DeFi space, it is in a minute. There's a couple of projects that I've been in which recently have shut down, obviously due to their smart contracts drying up. And straight away, people start, effing and jeffing at each other, saying, "Oh, you're a FUD of this and this FUD of that," and all that kind of stuff. But the way that everyone seems to conduct themselves in this community and the way that you conduct yourselves online, I think, provides a lot of confidence. So I think that will, attract the right kind of people you want into this, not just a 10-year-old that's trying to make a quick, dollar off his mum's credit card kind of thing. So as long as we can get the right people in, I think that, would be a positive step going forward.
Yeah, thank you. That means a lot. Yeah, and look, our system is very, whilst there's a lot going on because it appeals to different sort of risk profiles. It's very simple at its nature, which is to, reduce the amount of tokens in supply and increase the amount of funds that back those tokens. And so you've got, rather than like a traditional sort of, so like a financial organization or a DAO, its job is to increase its holders and increase its cash, right? Whereas our system is to, increase holders, but also decrease the amount of tokens, spread across more holders, and then increase the funds. And, those three metrics all, it's like a battle that happens, and there's only one result, right? If you achieve those three things, then those three things compound and you get exponential growth in the value of the token because there's less of them spread across more people and with more funds backing them. And that's that's our goal. So great. Look, thanks again for coming up. I really appreciate it. And now we've kind of done, we always do like a bit of an icebreaker, but that's gone a little bit longer, but I think it's really good. I've enjoyed it, so thank you. And we'll crack on with the AMA because we've got a hard stop in 45 minutes actually, so we're gonna have to move quick.
Cheers, thank you, best of luck.
Thank you. Cheers, Jack. Okie dokie. Okay, so guys, thank you. First of all, thank you. Like, I feel a bit under pressure actually. I'm looking through the group today, and there's the people that are here. We've got Node Flanders, so I'm going to bring it up. Normally, I work in like quite a systematic way, and I'll only answer questions at certain times. But because I did sort of offer that invite, we've got Node Flanders here. Hello, mate. How are you? Sometimes people put their hand up and forget or don't realise. So I'll give Node sort of 5 seconds and then.
Good evening,
oh,
sir.
Hello, how are you, mate?
Not so bad. How are you getting on?
Yeah, good. Every day is a blessing, obviously.
Is it ever? Now, first of all, I want to thank you in advance for what the future is going to bring.
What have you seen? Give me good news.
Well, I don't know. I was part of Titano. I was one of those buckle bunnies for Titano. I won the Titano lottery, and my boy there, Will Speedy, he got me on the Mdb. Wasn't through no social media, but just word of mouth. And I went full bore in the Mdb, put everything into it. Probably not the smartest thing to do, but it's paying off quite well at the moment. Now, I do have a question for you, though, sir.
Sure, go
on. The farming. I'm having a hard time understanding. Like, I'm not the most technical whiz in the world, but I'm having a hard time understanding how to farm.
Okay.
And is this Xenia 2.0 gonna streamline my experience with farming?
Yeah. And I think when you say you're having a hard time, just so I understand, when you say you're having a hard time with farming, is it getting going or understanding how you can maximize your return?
B.
Okay, very good. Yeah, and look, obviously, so it sounds like you've got going, and the difficulty is, I suppose, with a manual farm, which is effectively what we've got at the moment, is that you have to be, basically every day, and not every time there's a reward drop. There's been a lot of rewards drops in the last 24 hours. It's you just see people are sort of like flexing their rewards on that they've got on Xenia, but I think we'll cover that today. Actually, it will become much simpler. It will become much simpler with Xenia 2.0 as it launches in the next couple of weeks. So, yeah, I think it'll be covered today. It'll make it a lot simpler for you, and it offers you a very simple way of maximising that APY, because it's super attractive, and the farm is designed in a way that it's not something you speculate in and out of week by week. You go in. And the fact that it taxes you on the way in, it means that people, if you go in, you're going to stay in there for a while to ROI. But that also then protects the API for the people that are already in there, obviously. So, yeah, I think the what we covered today will be super helpful. I'm very confident of it. And by the way, look, I think I would say to everybody, diversify, absolutely. But I will also say, I quit a fairly decent job to set up MDB. I'm a very sort of like passionate guy. Sometimes that really works for me. Sometimes it doesn't, to be honest. And I have to kind of take feedback on board. But I'm all in on this as well, mate. I really believe in this. I wanted to build a protocol as a frustrated investor that I myself would want to invest in. I'm learning that isn't necessarily the protocol that a lot of DeFi investors want to invest in. But yeah. So whilst I would always recommend you diversify, I just want you to know that from a professional standpoint, and also from my own future, I am completely all in on MDB as well.
10-4. Thank you for your time.
Great stuff. Thanks, buddy. Cool. All right. Well, look, I really enjoyed that, because normally I think I get feedback from Alice quite a bit that I'm too structured with the AMAs, and it's maybe lacks a little bit of personality, because I try and keep to an agenda. So that was really good. I enjoyed it, and I hope you did too. So I'm just trying to remove my friend Node Landers just from the stage. He's gone. There you go. Worked it out quicker than me. I had an option to kick him or ban him, and I thought that was a bit harsh considering his nice comments, and I was struggling to find how to get him off the stage. So, right, let's get down to business. We've got 41 minutes. We've got a huge amount to cover, and I'm sure we're going to get lots of questions. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to rattle through it in 20 minutes. I think maybe I'll do like a halfway point stop. If there's a couple of questions, please only ask questions that are related to what we've talked about so far. Otherwise, we might just be covering content that's due to come, because we've got so many topics to cover today. We will also drop a summary over the next 24 hours, summarising the AMA today and the things that we've gone through. So bear with me 2 seconds. I just need to find my agenda. So first and foremost, the details that we're going to cover is the Xenia 2.0 launch date and also the features. So we probably could launch Xenia 2.0 within the next 6 days, albeit maybe just, it's always slightly uncomfortable when there's a chance that you put yourself under time pressure. However, we have decided on a Xenia 2.0 launch date of the 17th of November, mainly, if I'm honest, for marketing purposes. And they could always be unknowns, right? We've got a spec, it's signed off with, we know what we can do, but at the same time, we want to make sure that we can get out there. I think, certainly in the second when we share the details for anybody that hasn't sort of picked up the alpha on Xenia 2.0, I think it's something that we need to be using as a tool for the protocol, so people understand, that they can use it, very safe strategies, set and forget on BUSD, but then also you can be using it for auto farming as well. So 17th of November is the date. We're already so we're going to do a Twitter Spaces with Austin. That's already booked in. We've got something being booked in with your bonks. James is always like super supportive of us, so we'll do something with James as well, and we will be ringing that bell constantly over the next 17 days. I think Xenia, Greek goddess of giving, was designed to give back to people, and it does make me all warm and fuzzy when I see people super happy with the rewards, because our protocol is about mechanics. Price is important, don't get me wrong. Anyone who says it isn't is a lunatic, but at the same time, the fundamentals are really important to deliver long-term value, right? Short-term price can be long-term pain. And Xenia is able to pump out that value. So 17th of November will be the day. So in terms of the core features, So really, there's 4 features that you're going to see on Xenia. So at the moment, if you want to switch between an asset in our system, you have to sell to BNB, and then you have to buy from BNB back into another asset. If you're coming out of a stable asset, actually you sell into BUSD because it's it's a smart contract with BUSD locked in it, and then you have to swap that to BNB, and then you have to go back in. Interesting thing is that our smart contracts for the stable backed assets do have a mint feature for BUSD, but you'd have to be confident connecting to BSC scan, connecting your wallet, using the mint feature, and you would be able to avoid that swap from BUSD to BNB then back into the stable. For instance, if you were moving from MDB Plus back into Phoenix Plus because you've been infernoed. So the really interesting thing is that first off, we're going to have a swapper on Xenia where you're able to swap between Infinity and MDB Plus, MDB Plus to Phoenix Plus, Phoenix Plus to MDB, MDB to Infinity. You're going to be able to swap between everything in the ecosystem on the 17th of November when we launch. Now, the second big change is Phoenix Plus automation. Now, anybody who's relatively new, Phoenix Plus has very low taxes. It's 2% in and 2% out if you sell, but then the APY is very high. So that tax is converted into BUSD. It's locked in the liquidity pools, locked in the contract. The only risk to us is that BUSD depegs. Nobody, not even if I wanted to, could I access the BUSD within that contract. You can only get it out by redeeming Phoenix Plus. And it's exactly the same for MDB Plus. So it's as safe as BUSD. Now, if you're infernoed, so i.e. wallets are selected randomly, I think there's about a 1 in 20 chance every day that your wallet is selected. And if you're selected by the Phoenix for an Inferno, then you'll be cashed out from Phoenix Plus into MDB Plus, and you'll pay a 3% tax because you've been infernoed rather than cashing out yourself into BUSD. Obviously, you'll pay the 0.75% tax going into MDB Plus, and if you want to sell straight away, you pay 0.25 out. So really, it's like 4% full circle if you're pushed out. But the APY is designed to be very favourable. Phoenix Plus is also paired with Infinity, which is a very small LP, so that LP is driving a lot of APY for Phoenix Plus. And other times, maybe when the volume is low on Infinity, Phoenix Plus is driving the growth of Infinity because that's what it's paired with. But anyway, to get to the point, you will have the swap where you will have the ability to set an automated feature, so you don't have to manually get rid of your MDB Plus and then go back into Phoenix Plus. So you're moving straight into the token and then getting the APY as soon as possible. So the way this is going to work is you will go on to Xenia. You will actually not go to Phoenix Plus. It's not a Phoenix Plus function. In fact, it's an MDB Plus function. And what you would do is you would give Xenia permission to auto route at a certain threshold back to Phoenix Plus. Now, what I mean by a certain threshold is this. So you could just set it to 0, and that means that anything that becomes MDB Plus in your wallet can be converted back into Phoenix Plus, and you'll pay the tax. Now, the auto feature will use that mint function, so you won't have BUSD to BNB back into Phoenix Plus like you do now. It would be MDB Plus, BUSD, straight into Phoenix Plus. Okay, so it would actually have less fees. I think it's about, don't hold me to this, is between 0.3 and 0.5% less fees every time you do the transaction. But it means that you can set a threshold. Anything above that threshold that comes into MDB Plus will be auto-routed back into Phoenix Plus. So you could say, I want to keep $1,000 in MDB Plus, for instance, and anything that's over that amount will be auto-routed back into Phoenix Plus. And it's really an MDB Plus function, actually, rather than Phoenix Plus. What that means is that you can take your cash, you can dump it into Phoenix Plus. It's completely safe. It's wrapped BUSD effectively on steroids, and you take your chances because the Inferno is random, because the APY is variable, because it's dictated by buys and sells as well as the Inferno, as well as the volume of Infinity. All of that creates a little bit of variability, albeit extremely low risk, right? So, with this function, you over time, one person could still get much more APY than another person, because you may just not be random. Maybe you go 30 days without being selected for the Inferno, and then it auto routes you back in. Maybe you then get another 40 days and it auto routes you back in. So you've only been infernoed twice in 70 days, right? Your APY is going to be much, much higher than somebody who might be unlucky and they get infernoed 15 days, right? Because you've been infernoed twice in 30 days rather than twice in 70 days. So therefore your APY will be a lot less. So it's personal to you, but the good thing is that you can set it and forget it. You can put your money in Phoenix Plus, give MDB Plus the permission to reroute back in, and then you can just leave it and see what APY you get. We're exploring how we can display the APY for you. It's very difficult on the blockchain because as soon as somebody adds a little bit or takes a little bit out, it's not a case of saying this was the start point and that's the end point. But we're exploring that, but we can't be completely sure on what's possible. But that's the second feature. Third feature, super cool. Is the auto compounding farm. Now, the auto compounding farm will also pay a service fee to Xenia, and that service fee will be taken in MDB, and all of that MDB will be burned forever. Right? So the way the auto compounding will work at the moment, you put in MDB with BNB, or you're paid in MDB as rewards, and you would have to sell half of that MDB for BNB, pair together, then put back into the farm, considering taxes there as well. What the auto farm will do is it will just do that process for you automatically on a daily basis. Okay, so you won't have to do anything. It will charge you a 1% service fee. So any MDB that's going through the auto farm, 1% of any rewards will be snuck off and it will be burned. And that's just, Xenia saying, I'm going to burn a little bit for doing the effort. I think people like Beefy maybe they take maybe 3%. I've heard numbers on some platforms as high as 5%. So it's very low, but it is also super helpful. Now, there's already about $1 million in the MDB BNB farm paying. I think APY is shot up again. I think we're back. We were down at 130, which, believe it or not, was its historical lows at 130%. It's now pumped back up to 175% actually. So back towards numbers that we're familiar with. But there is about, there's $1.05 million in there at the moment. I think the APY has come down slightly actually. It's 157. Now, the question that we've had is, well, what if I want to move from the current farm to the auto farm? So you will have the option for the manual farm if people just want to collect rewards and they don't want to go through that process of compounding into the farm, then you can just use the normal one. If you unstake your LP tokens when we launch the auto farm, you can restake those tokens into the auto farm, and because the pair is already created, you won't pay a tax for moving. So there'll be no impact to you moving from MDB BNB to MDB BNB auto farm. So lots of information I've just banged out in about 9 minutes. And I will open up questions because the next two things are less sort of like specific about what's coming in terms of functions. There was a fourth feature as well. So Xenia 2.0 fourth feature is that you connect your wallet and you can see a total balance of all of your assets within Xenia as well, which I think is a really cool, and a lot of people are looking for us to do that. So that's feature number 4. So I'm just going to move to our questions channel, and if you're new here, you'll see under this stage there is I can never find it when we're doing this because I feel under massive pressure. We do have the stage, and there it is, and we've got AMA questions. So have a look. Here we go. So there's the date. It's not an attic. This is like a room in my house. Anyway, staying on track. Wait, so MDB is unfortunately, all AMMs are Ponzi's, right? Everything, whether it's shares, stocks, crypto, it is, the core of it is a Ponzi. The system is designed around it to be anti-Ponzi, to reward people that are long-term, and people can take short-term reward. There's no issue with that whatsoever, but they're not going to do it at the long-term expense of people that are in the system for a long period of time, which is very unique in the industry. I can't see anything that I would say is remotely mature in the questions, just pictures of men getting wrecked, jumping off the roof of a building. So as usual, completely impressed by the maturity of the community. Thanks again. Yeah. Oh, thank you, Peasant, as well. Auto farming is exactly the same as the standard farm. So there's a question there. So I've got one sensible question in amongst about 300 messages in the last 11 minutes. And yeah, thank you, West Easy. I'm just looking. When Phoenix Megabyte? We have done lots of Phoenix Megabytes. We just haven't always. There's a max buy potential. We've done 20, 30, 40k, I think maybe 45, 50k buy, I think is the highest we've done, but they're typically exit liquidity events as well, and picked very carefully. So hopefully that answers the question. And lots of questions around when peg, but it's a great question there, actually, around the NFTs from Jack. It was only 10 minutes ago. I'm sure it was Jack. And Xenia won't have an auto claim feature. You can't actually have an auto claim feature because the smart contract doesn't know that it's been sent tokens. That's why either somebody or a bounty or a bot has to claim something. So you actually have to design something else around it to make that happen. Auto DCA on MDB, that was discussed. It was discussed. I think. I can't. It was a long time ago. I can't give an answer on that now. I'm sure I did give an answer to that thread, but we're happy to open up the conversation again. Okay. But yeah, great point on the NFT, actually, and we've got we do have ideas around something similar to that, but that's not something we're going to discuss on today's call. So all right, so in the absence of any other sensible questions, what's the plan for Infinity? Why are we here? A great broad question from TZ96. The plan for Infinity is to burn it all. Is the plan. It's hyper deflationary. It's burning like 1% a week, which is ridiculous. If you look at 1% of original supply, if you maintain that over a year, it's absolutely insane considering the funds that back it. So that's the plan, is to keep executing on that. I think there's plenty of trading opportunities there if people want it, and I think to have something that's basically 100% backed and paying 70% APY, as well, we always say if it's not for people, they're welcome to sell, and that's going to speed up the inevitable process for other people that want to hang on for a little bit longer. But at the moment, that's still absolutely our plan. Okay, so I'm going to move on to MDB AI plan, features, and timeline. So we've been talking for many, many months about trading bots, and it's certainly a bit of a buzzword within the industry at the moment. We see value in them, but we were really keen to kind of explore them at our own pace, work out what the good, the bad, and the ugly looks like, and then try and build something that's innovative around that. And in short, that is basically what MDB AI is. So the plan for MDB AI. And shout out to West Easy, because he'll know that some of this has come from some ideas that we've talked about as well. So credit to him. And we've also looked at, we're very concerned about, the risks of trading bots and how it's quite one-dimensional as well. That's one of our biggest concerns. Another concern would be sort of aping into something and then finding out that there's a problem, and you've got, again, you've got all of your eggs in one basket. For what is relatively low returns if it runs to zero, right? I think getting 8% a month is amazing on something that's really solid. But if it's 8% a month and then it's sorry, withdrawals are done and we're finished, then it's pretty rough, right? So we wanted to try and think of a way that we could mitigate that. I think one of the gripes also around trading bots, and especially if you link them to NFTs, is that how illiquid they can be if the resale value isn't there, and also you're dependent on somebody coming along who wants to buy your NFT at that point in time. So we've been thinking about that also, and so thinking about all of that, our plan is we've been using a trading bot for several months who's delivered steady returns, and actually credit to the team, because when they haven't made good returns, they've been very open about it. And for us, that's a huge plus, because actually most people don't know trading bots don't win every day. If somebody is selling you a trading bot that does 2% a day, it will consume all of the capital in the world within 5 years, right? Just so yeah, so it's very difficult. The way trading bots really work is that a very good run of results is that they deliver 60% win rate and they lose 40%. They don't get emotional about the 40%, neither do they get emotional about the 60%, and that's the edge that they have on humans. But they can also get a bit skewed as well. So there are risks involved. So we've had one trading bot running. We've then established a gold trading bot that's been running for a number of years, which trades gold and US dollar, which obviously is a huge market. So it'd be very difficult to see that completely capitulate because of the sheer size of it and how I suppose how much history there is around that as well. And we also have another futures trader who has, again, we've made sure that we can see 90 days of history, and they've been delivering results for us. And we're thinking about a fourth, but at the moment we have three. And the idea is with Mdb AI, and this is where we want to add value, because we never want to just be cookie cutter in the things that other people do. We want to think, okay, well, actually, how can we add value to this concept? With Mdb AI, you'll be able to purchase an NFT. The NFT offers an aggregate performance across the different trading options that are there. Whether you can split those trading options dynamically is something that we're looking at, and we'll see. Whether each individual can decide how much they want to claim and compound and then set that within Xenia, again, is something that we're exploring as one of the options. But one of the big features that we see is maintaining a liquidity pool. Now, what we would see, let me just use some round numbers. We would see that if you had $3 million in Mdb AI, and that was paying around, I don't know, let's say on a great month it pays 250,000. Thanks, frontman. If that was paying 250,000 a month, obviously 250,000 a month paid out in our stable backed assets delivers a lot of value. However, if you're moving 250,000 a month in and out of Phoenix Plus, then that value can also be harnessed. So we see a way that we're able to create another connection with Capital Synergy, where the outputs from Mdb AI are paid into Phoenix Plus, and also then you're able to maintain a pool of Phoenix Plus within the Mdb AI contract. So you would have the trading account, you would then have the stable account, but then what that gives you is then a liquid pool, and that enables people to liquidate their NFT at will for the current value based on the assets across both the trading and also the stable backed asset at any point in time. The value is that then they don't have to go onto the open market. They don't have to wait. If you just want to liquidate 5 NFTs right now for $5,000, then you can just do it. You pay a tax, but the tax is then fed back into the pools, and the value is spread across all of the other NFTs that are still in existence. So there's a bit of capital synergy there that makes it completely liquid, and then also shares out sort of any liquidation fees with anybody that's still continuing to hold their NFT. So, you know, in theory, I talked about 3 million. If it was 3 million, if it spread across $1,000, so, you know, you'd have 3,000 NFTs. If 2,000 people did that, then you know, you would end up with significantly higher valuation for the remaining NFTs as well. So a lot of information that I'm kind of pumping out in a really short space of time on Mdb AI, and And sorry, trying to read comments while I was talking as well. Happy to take any sort of like thumbs up, thumbs down, thoughts on it. You know, like most things, you know, as you know, when we talk to you about it, we've normally spent a lot of time thinking about it and thinking, actually, does this really solve a problem? Does this add value? Is it unique? And we think it does, but happy to take any sort of like questions or feedback on that. Oh, if Austin likes it, then yeah, then I'm done. I'm done. Will there be a pegging function? Yeah, you have to DM me for that, but I can sort you out, no problem. Question about the auto farm. Just going back slightly. Now there's that function. Yeah, it's a great idea, actually. Man in the mirror, thank you for that suggestion. I think a Zap feature is something, and this is why it's great to do these calls, actually. I think a Zap feature on the farm is probably a brilliant idea. If we're going through that effort of launching the smart contract, then and the UI, then why not? So that's a great suggestion. I'll take that away. A guy with a name. Don't make me swear. There's a lot of people here. And good. Cryptoholic, yeah. Okay, brilliant. All right. Well, look. Now the question is timelines. So we are thinking about doing a mini mint of MDB AI that'll be very exclusive that we do before Christmas, maybe, which is really tight. So we're talking about a really short time frame. We're also thinking about MDB AI having a function because of the way the system works, and effectively your NFT is like a ticket to the game. Rather than having the funds locked in the contract itself. We're also thinking about including a feature where you can log an exchange wallet if you wanted to. So if you wanted to buy an MDB AI NFT for somebody else that, you know, doesn't want to get their head around BNB and you know, and MetaMask and all of those things, then they would literally just have to put their receiver wallet and they would receive BNB to their Binance wallet, for instance. So we're trying to think of ways that it can be sort of like a really simple crossover. And really then if you know if somebody wanted one and they want it to be really simple, they can just sign up for their Binance account. They just put the address into Xenia and they're just going to receive the you know the funds into the central exchange. But idea is we're looking for like a really small mint. I think you know we're talking maybe 200-300k max, and then we want to use a bit of time to sort of like test the system. Then we're happy to sort of like implement any learnings in terms of the UI and the functionality, and then go for something much bigger in Q1. So that's the timelines that we're working to. MDB AI for VIP only. Happy to get feedback. By the way, I think VIPs are like the unsung heroes. I think because they own a lot, and you know the price has been great. Then people you know maybe don't think about the VIPs, but I do, and I have been thinking about maybe getting maybe offering like a short-term incentive where maybe the next 5 VIPs get $500 of MDB, just to try and create a bit of focus on it. Is, you know, if we get 200 VIPs and they hold, this is going to go crazy, right? There is only so many tokens. It's going down, and 1 million tokens out of 850 is a lot. Yeah. So I am thinking about that. Give me any feedback. Cryptoholic's lost it. He's lost it. He's gone. And yeah, okay. Just an idea. Give me feedback. You know, I'm always open, but you know, I feel like maybe doing something for a short period of time that says maybe up until Xenia launches, next 5 VIPs get $500, and that doesn't mean that means that you have to become a VIP. If you're $1,000 away, that's fine. If you're $5,000 away, that's great. If you start from 0, then you know you're an absolute legend. But what about current VIP people? You've done really well. You've done like really well. BW, you've been in since the start, you've been a VIP since day one, then you're a happy boy, I'm pretty sure. So, and trust me, the more VIPs there are, the better it is for existing VIPs. I absolutely guarantee you that as well. Okay, so should be able to then open up for questions in a few minutes. So you know that we've been working on a Web3 concept, which is a Web3 based application for the B2B environment that leverages blockchain technology, and that has the ability to solve a huge problem actually in the B2B space. But at the same time, we're never in the business of starting with selling the product, getting your money, and then worrying about do people want it, does it work, will it happen, blah blah blah, right? Not throwing shade on anyone else, because obviously nobody in the industry does that, but that's just not the way that we roll. So I wanted to give you sort of like a little bit of sort of like sneak peek in terms of the process that we've been going through. So we've been through several different concepts, and we've even developed the concept since the last time we spoke about it. We've been market testing this concept with a whole range of different people. So you already know, we've been to Fortune 500 manufacturer. We've got meetings already set up with people who run incubator systems for one of the world's largest data center operators, and also one of the largest software houses for the manufacturing space as well. We've also got sort of direct links with people there that run their incubator programs, and we're starting to test the model with those. There isn't a conversation we've come out of yet actually where it's been negative, and actually almost every conversation we've had has come out has been very positive. So now we're in the scoping phase and taking that from a concept where the feedback has been extremely positive to getting down to a plan for executing an MVP by Q1 of next year. And that's where we are at the moment. I think when you start going through that scoping phase, then it can be a bit like a fishbone. The question, one question can lead to 7, 8 other questions, and that's why there's always a huge amount of unknowns, right? It takes time to build these things and make sure you move at the right pace. But we are also side by side to that, because very confident from the meetings that we've already had, starting to build the business plan, the marketing content. We've got branding, we've got marketing people that you may know, people like Mast, who's under like strict confidentiality clauses, by the way. So if you want to see Mast get shot, get him to tell you something about it. And we're working on both marketing content, videos, website, logos concurrently, whilst also having done the market testing and working through that MVP sort of scoping phase at the moment. Once we've got the scope, then it's about getting down to building, and then we should be in a position where hopefully we have an MVP. The target is by March, but we're very cautious with it because that path is a long one. It can take longer. You can find anything along that journey as well, but just to let you know, that's something that we're working on. Well, look, I've been I feel like I've been talking to you guys for 30-40 minutes. I've got to jump straight onto a live stream, bang on the hour. So if you can join the live stream in 10 minutes, but I'm happy to answer questions over the next few minutes. So let's have a look. MDB is one of the last DeFi projects I'm in. That's from Austin. Big, but not your top 20. Top 50, I don't think we were in. Anyway, I'll get over it. Your live stream, Austin. Your live stream. So good question here from West Easy, actually. So for real world applications, that are going to be a separate entity that's owned by MDB. Therefore, if you own MDB, you're essentially a shareholder of said business. I think the simple answer is yes, but it's not as simple as that. I think you have to think about branding, and it's a very different environment, as you know yourself, actually, from what you do. From our perspective, if we're able to get this to a place where it happens, because you have to be very clear whenever you've got like a concept, it's always there's always a lot of question marks that you need to get through. Then there is absolutely value for MDB, and there is definitely a stake there for MDB, and we're thinking about ways that maybe you could maybe offer some sort of equity access to MDB holders. Maybe they'd be able to use tokens to maybe bargain for more equity. But at the same time, I think you want to go and talk to, say, 150 billion turnover organization about being on their incubator program. It doesn't really fit with DeFi, if I'm brutally honest. So I think the benefit there from a technical standpoint, definitely, but from a branding, business structure, and strategy point of view, they are also very different. They are also very different as well. And I think the two things that are very different to be completely successful in their own right, you have to give them their own space. So so I think ownership can also be, can be a little bit more creative where you need it to be, but in terms of day-to-day operations, it needs to be quite different. Okay. Looking for any other sensible questions? Would VIP Millionaires Club get access to raising capital or equity, seed funding, etc., if necessary at all? Look, I think it's something that we're open to. I think at the same time, we're super grateful for the community. MDB is the number one focus, and continuing to drive sustainable growth for the organisation is what we live to do. So, but if people are beating down our door and it's something that we're interested in understanding when the time's right, then we'll be more than happy to sort of have that conversation and be pragmatic about it. Will MDB insulate to any failure or risk in the real world business? Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. There's the live stream being hosted. I'll let Austin answer that. And if I have to buy another NFT, you don't have to buy an NFT. That's from Peasant. Is there a way to do an auto compound function across all MDB rewards to the farm from NFTs, infinity staking, and farming, for example? That's a good idea, actually. That's a good idea. Let me take that one away. So the idea is that you'll be able to say auto farm all of my rewards, and everything that you get from PFC, from the other NFT, IYC, it's only our NFT, staking and so on. Yeah, I think that's a good idea. I think we have to maybe try and eat this elephant sort of in chunks, but I do like the idea, actually. It's really cool. I'm just looking if there's any more sensible questions. Yeah. I think that's it. There's a couple of people typing. There we go. Sensible questions. So if there's no sensible questions, will it be any single staking from an outside party like EMP? I'm not sure on the question, buddy. Sorry, screen to death. Would we offer single staking options for an outside party? I'm not sure on the question. I don't want to be rude, but I don't. Sorry, mate. I don't understand. We'll be able to buy Infinity with MDB. Yes. You'll be able to swap from one to the other. Absolutely. Any asset to any asset in the MDB ecosystem on Xenia 2.0. We don't mint tokens or generate emissions as a protocol, which is sort of like the standard playbook for any protocol. So our own single staking pool takes a share of the taxes. That's why when there's loads of volume, like we've had in the last 24 hours, the chart's gone down a bit because we've had the gravity drop, and people are, over the moon, right? And some people from moves have said, well, I'm just going to stake. So they've been seeing great staking rewards or farming rewards. And so it's all very sustainable because we don't, there's nothing that's created out of thin air. It has to come from somewhere. And so I'm not sure how really central to our strategy, to be honest, to divert those rewards to staking pools for other tokens. Question on farming? No, at the moment. You know, Phoenix, any sort of Phoenix Plus farms would be a place to hide. I think we do actually, a little bit of alpha to leave everyone with. We do actually have an MDB Plus BNB farm. We do actually have it. We've just never put it. We've never activated it on Zelia. So that does exist, and it is something that we could turn on if we wanted to, but that's TBC at the moment. Because in our experience, we had pairs with other organisations, and what we found was that it just encouraged the lockup and not the use of MDB Plus, which strangely actually then limited the APY rather than encouraged the growth of the token. So cool. All right. So if we're back to sensible questions like when dip, then I think we are done. We have to be done because I've only got 3 minutes. Does Mdb have any investment outside of crypto? No, we don't. No, we don't. What's on? No, we as I said before, it's not really within our strategy to have staking for other tokens on our platform, because the rewards have to come from somewhere, right? And we're not going to mint MDB for it, and we don't want to divert MDB from our own staking pools for locking up MDB. So I'm gonna knock off there, and thanks guys, appreciate everyone coming along. Huge group of people today, and thank you for listening to me bang on for nearly an hour. And if you want to join the live stream in 2 minutes, I'm sure Austin will drop in a link, and I will see you all soon. Take care. Bye bye.